back here now in what's called aft steering. Now on board the Battleship, it's all armor. We're surrounded by armor. This armored box was part of the protection system yet outside of it. So this would allow, so you wouldn't have what happened to like Bismarck. When Bismarck had her rudder damage, she didn't have an ideal armor protection, but you do here. So prevent plunging fire from coming in, you'd have armor above us and armor on the sides. So this box is isolated left and right, but it's not fully armored, it's partially armored. In the inside, the outside is what protects you from plunging fire. This is just segmented steel here to separate port and starboard hydraulic rooms. Now, the hydraulic rams are in the next room. Here would be the actual helm control if you would take control of the helm. Now the wheels are missing here, but this would be, you'd be able to operate using the gauges up here, these two, either or. Because the fun thing about this is that aft steering, each hydraulic ram you have, if you notice, they're mirror images of each other. So what you would have be hydraulic controls, because if you had a casualty on one side, you'd be done. You wouldn't have any rudder control. So you have two operating units that could operate individually or shift off, so that way you could run one unit for 8 hours, shift over, run the other unit, do maintenance on one or repair on the other. So you had two separate operating systems, identical, that run both rammers. So you had rammers left and right, so you'd be able to control the rudders that way. So you'd be shifting a control from left to right. All right. So the gauges up there, the two are one for this unit, one for that unit. That is a repeater from the other side, and the other side of the boat, we're on starboard side rudder, and there'd be port side rudder. So you have the actual motors for moving the hydraulics, AN, BN, taking mechanical, which would be turning of the wheel, and electrical power, making hydraulic, and controlling hydraulic moving in here and pushing into the unit. And this would be your ram room. Now, this is the actual starboard rudder ram room, part of aft steering. But here's the actual rudder shaft going down to the rudder. Your hydraulic rams here would actually move fore and aft depending on which way you want to turn the ship. So hydraulic rams on here are mechanically linked to move your nut up here, if you want to call it that. I can't remember the exact term. This would actually push your rudder, turn it left and right, because you got to remember, you're moving millions of gallons of water past this rudder a minute. You're having to force that to turn 50,000 tons of ship at high speeds. So this ramming unit is set up and welded as in part of the actual armored structure in the framework. Now these pieces you see here, steel, are prevent the ram from being moved when the ship was being taken to dry dock. The Coast Guard stipulated that the rudders could not move because they were not powered, so they didn't want an accidental jam of the rudder shifting, so they actually put in braces and welded them in to prevent the rudder moving while under tow. These would normally not be here. So as you come down and you look at the ramming unit, how you could actually gauge the movement of each of these hydraulic rams, you have a sight gauge, and here's your marker. So as this expands and moves, you can see left rudder, right rudder. This would be the degrees of turn of your rudder. So you can see this whole unit is just pivoting back and forth as the ship needs to turn. So that man up on the helm is actually, through linkages, moving the rudder. Now we're back here on the port side rudder. As you can see, all the setup is essentially the same, and a exact mirror image of starboard side. So we've gone through the different operations, the functions, and what would normally be here and how it would operate. And now you can actually see the requirements needing to operate a fully functional warship of this size and how much water and is moving this ship, and the armored protection, the rudder room, aft steering as it's called normally. This is an integral part of the design to help keep the ship moving and being a fast moving active participant. Without this, she wouldn't be able to run. So you have to have backups to backups, secondaries, hard built and hard operated. So another interesting operational piece in here that I forgot to mention I wanted to get through to you was that there's a nice way to operate this rudder. So you can do it independently. So if you had to do an emergency stop, these two rudders can be turned opposite of each other at the same time. It's called closing the barn doors, and it acts like air braking. So you'd be able to take these rudders and put them into a opposite operation to shut the water flow. So you'd put water left and right, and you actually help slow the ship down while the shafts are being slowed to be put in reverse. So you can actually stop the ship in almost its length. So that's another interesting operation that can happen here, but a lot of things happen with this units. And I'd like to get more depth in it, but I'm a gunner's mate, and one day we'll get more information, get it out there to you. Thank you for your time, and we hope you come back and see our other videos and learn more and contribute as well to the restoration of your ships, because this ship's restoration inside the history here and restoration of the fleet, we want you to contribute and help open these spaces up so people can see them and you can see the function and learn from it. Thank you for your time. I'm GM1 Tom Lowney, and hope to see you out there. Just remember to like, share, and subscribe, and you can help in various ways as you learn about the ships and how to operate, and then learn how to contribute to keep these running and open for you and the public. Thank you for your time. Take care.